Chris Christie getting more prominence from MSNBC than any Republican news outlet should spell trouble for his Republican primary prospects. But of course, none of this is real. Everybody knows who the fucking real president is. His name is Donald Trump. Everybody knows who the real primary winner is. His name is also Donald Trump. He is both simultaneously the real president of America currently and also the president of the primaries. He's the president of everything. He's the president of my heart. Let's hear what Christopher Christie has to say about him, though.
Republican presidential candidate, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. Governor, good morning. It's good to see you. Let's get right to the day's news. We have a trial date set now for Donald Trump in this federal election interference case, March 4th, the eve of Super Tuesday. Obviously, a very busy day on the eve of that big Super Tuesday primary and caucus event. So what is your reaction to the timing of this trial?
Well, look, Willie, as you know, I served 7 years as the U.S. attorney in the 5th largest office in the country, and we did over 130 public corruption cases during my 7 years there, and we were 130-0. So I understand the way these cases work. This is a relatively straightforward case. It's just one defendant. It's essentially 4 charges.
And you sucked at it? No, he didn't. He actually arrested the corrupt Kushner family, okay?
And the idea that they have another 6 months to prepare for trial would be a normal situation in the District of New Jersey. And I think in probably almost any federal district of any size in the country. And usually, this is the way these cases work. So I'm not surprised by the date. I thought the 2026 request was ridiculous. And when your lawyers go in and make requests like that in front of a judge that they patently know is just ridiculous. It doesn't curry any favor with the judge in terms of the seriousness of the arguments you make. So I think it was a bad strategic move. I'm convinced it was driven by the client, not by the lawyers, as most of the bad decisions on the Trump legal team are driven by. And now they've got a March 4th date. And, look, I think the thing for Republican voters to think about out there is this guy is going to be sitting in a courtroom starting on March 4th for probably 6 to 8 weeks, depending upon the length of the defense case, but at least 6 weeks, every day. Not out on the campaign trail making the case against Joe Biden, which is what Republicans should be doing every day. We simply cannot expect that someone who is facing this number of criminal trials and, quite frankly, the conduct that underlies those charges, can be a viable fall election candidate against Joe Biden. And if we lose to Joe Biden, Republicans need to understand that we're going to be looking at a packed Supreme Court. We're going to be looking at the end of the filibuster and a number of other issues that folks like me and the rest of the folks in our party can't have. So I'm in this race because we want someone who could beat Joe Biden. And on that debate stage Wednesday night, Willie, I was the only one on the stage that's ever defeated a Democratic incumbent in an election. And I did it in a very blue state, being out.
Bro, he just looks, dude, he just looks so, like, Chris Christie would be on the up and up if Democrats were voting in the Republican primaries, okay? He'd be popping off. He'd be killing it big time, okay? I don't know how many Republicans are, like, I don't know what he's doing. A lot of people that are now running for president don't actually care about becoming president, obviously. It's just like another race to see who can get out and, like, make their own separate scheme. Andrew Yang is a good example of this. Chris Christie, I think, is just basically running so that he can be a permanent MSNBC host or something. Like, he's just raising his public profile so he can just go and become like a CNN, like a permanent host on CNN or a permanent host on MSNBC. And because, like, it makes no sense. Like, he goes on Morning Joe. Like, who the fuck is going on Morning Joe more than they're going on Fox News? And it's funny because, like, he has a public profile that he has maintained by doing this since he got kicked out of the Trump administration by Jared Kushner. for actually prosecuting Jared Kushner's dad, which Jared Kushner never gave up on. That was his revenge, the Kushner's revenge, as they call it.
Outspent 3-1. So that's why I'm the guy who can beat Joe Biden. And this trial date for Donald Trump just makes it even clearer that he cannot be our nominee. If he is, we're going to lose the election.
And it's just one of several trial dates next year. We've been showing this calendar this morning, Governor, of just how busy it is. This does not even include the Georgia.
September 6, 2023 is the Georgia arraignment. September 27th is the second GOP presidential debate, which is going to be held in California, as a matter of fact. October 2nd is the Trump Organization civil fraud suit. That is another banger. Iowa caucuses on January 15th, 2024. January 15th also happens to be the E. Jean Carroll civil defamation suit, which is pretty funny because, like that one is just, all of these other things are Trump's fault, right? But that one in particular is absolutely just the most avoidable lawsuit because this is the second civil defamation suit that will 100% destroy Trump again, okay? He's absolutely getting cooked on that one because he did it 24 hours. He defamed E. Jean Carroll in an identical manner 24 hours after his prior suit had ended, where he was forced to pay $5 million to E. Jean Carroll for the defamation suit that he lost. Like, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to fucking directly. You didn't have to literally defame the person who you just lost the defamation suit to in the exact same way on CNN. Anyway, and then there's a pyramid scheme class action lawsuit on January 29th. March 4th is when the D.C. election interference trial starts. March 5th also is Super Tuesday. Very important primary date. That's, Super Tuesday is when the Bernie momentum, the Bern momentum was killed last time around, if you guys recall, in the Democratic Party primaries. New York hush money trial starts on, New York hush money trial starts on March 25th. Classified documents federal trial starts on May 20th. And then July 15th to the 18th is the Republican National Convention, and November 5th happens to be Election Day.
Georgia trial, which we dropped somewhere in there. Last time you were on, we talked about polling that has Donald Trump still way ahead. But we want to talk about state polling because this morning the AJC has one. That was kind of national polling. The AJC has a new poll out this morning, Georgia, after everything that's gone on, after the mugshot and the booking and everything else. And Donald Trump still enjoys a 42-point lead over Ron DeSantis in the state of Georgia. So what convinces you, Governor, that dynamic changes over?
Oh, that's so awesome. Two-time impeachment winner. He's going to be a quadruple-time jail winner. You know what I mean? He's just, dude, it's so good. God, I love American politics so much. There is no comparison, okay? He's just killing it, dude. He's killing it. What are you going to do about it, Christie?
For the next several months, that somehow voters who have stood by Donald Trump and, in fact, in some cases intensified their support.
The irony of this situation is that, like, there are other issues. There are secondary issues that we're not even talking about because everyone is so laser focused on Donald Trump. Issues such as, well, what happens if Donald Trump does become the primary, the candidate, the winner of the Republican primaries? Well, then he's a one-term president automatically. Okay? He's a one-term president. That's unimaginable. You're giving incumbents advantage away immediately. That's crazy. That's nutty. Okay? So that's one thing, which is weirdly enough not expressed in the Republican primaries where these guys are going up against Donald Trump. Not a single person has brought this up. Every time I'm watching, I'm like, when will they say, like, Donald Trump is only a one-term president even if he wins. Like what's going on? Why is nobody bringing that up? That's a major. I guess Ron DeSantis used to say it. I haven't really heard him say it. Like it makes no sense. Anyway, the 4% that didn't try to hang Mike Pence. So, I'm confused what you mean. Donald Trump was president already. America now has a term limit for presidents. You can only be a president for 2 terms. I could maybe see like Trump trying to end the term limits. He'll go from white man's Barack Obama to the white man's FDR, maybe. Like, I don't know. But like then he's gonna be like 900 years old, chat. Like, there's no way. So I don't understand at all why the folks on the left that are running right now wouldn't just wait for 2024. Like, none of them are super old. Marianne would do so much better in a real shot. When you're not asking folks to give up incumbent advantage, it's just grifting or no, nobody has a good shot. And people running against Donald Trump are Marianne Williamson and RFK Jr. Like, there's no one running against Joe Biden in the Democratic primary. Anyway, let's continue.
As they've bought his case that he's a martyr and a victim in all this, what changes that dynamic?
I think what you're seeing right now, all of this stuff beforehand, Willie, in terms of the impact that his conduct and the subsequent charges are going to have on the election have been hypothetical. Now people are going to see what they really mean. They're going to mean that a candidate can't be out there campaigning. He's going to be tending to his own criminal trial in federal district court in the District of Columbia, his own criminal trial in Manhattan Supreme Court in New York. And those 2 cases, I think, are almost certain to both be tried before the election, even before the convention, I suspect, in this summer of 2024 coming up. And so when those things become real, and let's face it, all these polls now, I can tell you this.
Christie's the only white guy polling below minorities in that poll. Excuse me. Chris Christie is a minority. He's Italian. Okay? That's right.
I've been at the Jersey Shore for a couple of days. Nobody is focusing on this election. They're focusing on the end of their summer, their last week of potential vacation, getting their kids ready to start the school year if they haven't done so already. The debate Wednesday was the starting gun in this race, and people are going to start to focus on it this fall. And when they do, Republicans are going to realize that nominating Donald Trump is going to be an enormous gift to the Democrats. And the Democrats are doing what they're doing because they want Donald Trump to be the nominee, because they know they can beat Donald Trump. And the reason they know they can is they already have.
So, Governor Christie, next year when...
I appreciate Christie actually saying this shit. Dude, good luck. When you say that, you also must understand why someone with your mindset appreciating anything that's coming out of a Republican primary candidate's mouth means the exact opposite for the Republican Party. You get it, right? Remember, one thing that you always have to do when you're thinking about like Republican candidates, especially in the primaries when they're running, it's opposite world, okay? Good things are bad, bad things are good. Also, stop libbing out for Chris Christie. He's not a great person either, okay? Come on. Like, all jokes aside, you know, I love my rotund boys, but the reality is he's also a gigantic piece of shit, very corrupt, famously very corrupt. I mean, dude, he's a fucking New Jersey. He was the governor of New Jersey, okay? I guess the current governor of New Jersey is not that bad. But anyway, but regardless, regardless, Chris Christie saying things that appeal to you in this chat spells trouble for him and basically solidifies why he's polling at like 1%. Okay? Like, there's a reason why this is, or 2%. There's a reason why this is happening to him. And it's because of this. Okay?
Republicans are going to realize to the Democrats, Donald Trump.
Next year, when this thing really gets going, when the election really gets going, you've tried to make the case, and you're trying to make the case that you are the guy who can make the case against Joe Biden. So my question to you is, how does what's left of your political party, the remnants of the Republican Party, how do you make the case against Joe Biden when last week 6 of the 8 candidates for President of the United States standing alongside you on the stage indicated that they would vote for him, for Trump, even if he were a convicted felon? How do you convince the country that your party is still sane?
Because I didn't raise my hand, Mike. And the leader of the party sets the tone for the party. The leader of the party writes the hymnal that the rest of the party sings from. And I'm going to provide the type of leadership, first and foremost, that says the truth matters. The truth matters no matter whether the truth is helpful to you politically one day or less helpful another day. The truth matters because the American people are tired of having a government that wastes their money, that doesn't provide results for them, given everything that they're providing to us in terms of their tax dollars. And I think those things are going to matter. And, you know, just in the same way that Donald Trump led aspects of our party astray because of his own personal conduct, his own self-absorption, and his own need to continue to pretend he was president even after he was defeated in 2020. New leadership can take our party in an entirely new direction. And so I absolutely believe in the fact that leaders make a difference. Leaders don't follow polls, Mike, they change them. And that's the kind of leader I intend to be. That's the kind of leader I was in New Jersey for 8 years as governor, in a very blue state where people said I'd never get elected in the first place. And I was coming on your show back then, you guys remember. And then they said I'd never get reelected. And I got reelected with 61% of the vote in a blue state, beating a female opponent with female voters, with winning a majority of the Hispanic vote in my state, winning 29% of the African-American vote. That's the kind of coalition that could bring the country together and get the type of conservative results we need to get our...
It's kind of funny considering that the only coalition that Chris Christie can get together is basically a coalition of people who hate him now. Okay? It is precisely partially what he did in New Jersey and also what he has done so far that has caused literally every demographic to come together in unison and say they fucking despise him. And that is possibly because he wants to be Rachel Maddow. Like, there is no one more patently unlikable than a fucking MSNBC commentator. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Chris Hayes or Mehdi Hasan, okay? I like those guys. But, like, in the eyes of the American population, a person that is like in the stable of talent at MSNBC as a political commentator is probably one of the least liked people on the planet, okay? One of the least liked people in America, okay? Chris is going to tweet about this. I know, he is a moot. He's a Twitter moot. So, bro likes Chris Hayes. Listen, we follow each other, okay? He's my Twitter moot. So, point is, if there's one person that's worse than, like, in the eyes of the average American, if there's one person that is even worse than an MSNBC commentator, it's someone who is vying desperately for that position. Okay? Andrew Yang comes to mind, for example. It's just like there's no better way to completely destroy whatever reputation you think you had. if you are very openly trying to become an MSNBC commentator.
Our
That's
country
what the
back
job
on
you're
track.
looking for.
I just believe leadership matters. It makes a difference. And if I didn't, Mike, I wouldn't be running for president.
Governor Christie, Elise Jordan here. You have chosen to attack Donald Trump more toughly in a more robust way than any other candidate. And most Republican consultants, I'm sure.
This in and of itself is also very Democratic Party adjacent. Like, this is so libbed up. What do I mean by this? Democrats love winning, or Democrats hate winning. They love losing gracefully, right? They love losing graciously. They are like, oh yeah, well, you know, we lost, but at least we did the right thing. Okay? And this in and of itself is like an incredibly libbed up thing that they're hyping Chris Christie up for. They're like, yeah, you're getting pummeled in the polls. You're polling at 2%. Okay? There's a random like pharma tech guy who's polling better than you, who nobody knew about until like 3 months ago. But at least you're winning the moral victory, right? At least you're you know, they're going low, but you're going high. What do you have to say about that? And it's like, dude, what are we doing here? Like, they should have me on there. I'd probably fucking poll better if I was doing Hank Pecker than Chris Christie at this point.
Are saying don't do that. It's Republican voters still like Donald Trump. It's very tough to actually win.
You cannot stand anyone not dick riding your god. Trump is so obvious. You are sickening. True.
If you're attacking Donald Trump, how do you attack and still make headway in the polls?
Well, at least look, I can tell you this. I have not been in the race even 3 months yet. And we've gone from 0 to 14% in the latest poll in New Hampshire. Clearly in second place, ahead of Ron DeSantis in fourth and Vivek Ramaswamy in third. And we're now within 20 points of Donald Trump in New Hampshire. He's only at 34%. And so, you know, what matters is the truth. And you can say I'm attacking Donald Trump, and I understand that's the way some people would look at it.
Yeah, what matters is the truth. Said no winner of the Republican Party ever, okay? No, man. The truth don't matter. The fuck? We already live in a post-Trump world. But even in a pre-Trump world, in the Republican Party especially, like, the truth never mattered.
At it. But what I'm doing is telling the truth about Donald Trump. And I'm unafraid to do so. And that's why I didn't raise my hand on the stage on Wednesday night, because the minimum bar we should have for someone to be running for president of the United States is that they're not indicted or convicted of felonies, let alone the underlying conduct that is in the classified documents case, the January 6th case.
Bro's been on MSNBC's payroll for so long, he forgot like what they're covering on Fox News. You know what I mean? At any given moment, if you go to Fox News right now, live, okay? If you go to the Fox News live coverage, let's see. Let me see if I can find, like, let's see what let's check in on Fox News. Let's see what the fuck they're talking about. And this is the morning
going on in Florida. That could work for him just to show, you know, leading through something like this. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's right. I think the way he handles this hurricane will definitely show off his leadership qualities or not. You know,
Okay, now is not a good time to actually tune into Fox News, because this is the one time where they're doing like normal news coverage right before Fox 5. There's this one pocket at Fox News where they actually do like regular news coverage, and that pocket is sandwiched between Fox 5 and Fox and Friends in the morning. And this is the one time that we clicked on Fox News and they're actually doing normal news coverage
with President
instead
Biden.
Instead of just like freaking the fuck out about like Hunter Biden or whatever the fuck, when they're living in a completely alternative reality.
This is definitely telling, especially after the debate and going into the next one where he can talk about more of these culture issues, but he'll have this kind of in his back pocket.
Got it. Guys, I want to thank you both very much for that. By the way, we're getting more updates from Florida to prepare for the big storm. Hotel chains are offering hurricane distress rates to help those who might otherwise fear going there or don't have the money to go there. Also waiving pet fees for some evacuees who want to make sure they're taking their dog or cat or anyone else.
They're waiving pet fees for some evacuees. You know, like, evacuees that have pets with good vibes. If your pet has fucked vibes, we're not waiving the fees.
These are acts that are just beneath the office he held when he committed those acts when he was president, and the acts that he's committed since he was president are well beneath the bar we should have for anybody who aspires to be president again. So what I'm doing is telling the truth to folks, and I'm doing it in the way I've always done it.
You get a fee if your cat is mean. Okay, all cat owners are being discriminated against in that situation.
Absolutely looking into the camera like I'm looking this morning and telling people what I believe in my heart and what I know from my experience as a prosecutor. This guy is in big trouble. He's in big trouble because he did it to himself, and he's inflicting that damage now on our party and on our country. That's not right, and someone needs to stand up against that. I'm the one who's doing it, and by the way, that now has me in second place in New Hampshire, at least after not even 3 months. So I'm not nearly as pessimistic as some others are. And
wow, he's killing it, dude. He finally made it to second place in New Hampshire, baby. This is like, he's been going off about New Hampshire. He's like, yeah, we care about New Hampshire. We care about New Hampshire. Great. You know, you have designed an incredible campaign for yourself, sir. It's going to be really funny when he's like not even second place in New Hampshire by the end of it, but love that.
And I know that I could turn that second place in New Hampshire into a win in New Hampshire. And when I do, this entire race will be turned on its head.
Governor Christie, good morning. Jonathan Lemire, you just said that the debate last week was sort of the starting point of this race. And we did see it had some impact in the polls. A few candidates saw the numbers go up a little bit. And we saw Donald Trump's.
When he says he's second place in New Hampshire, like, let's look at New Hampshire polling real quick. Okay, I just want to see something here. How much of a double-digit lead does Donald Trump have in New Hampshire right now against Chris Christie? Oh, okay, let's see. Real Clear Politics says RCP average Trump plus 31. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. I mean, he's making it out the hood with this one, dude. It's happening for him. Chris Christie at 14%. That's old. The new polling has him at 14% by Echelon Insights. Stop roasting him and gas him up so we get some Trump v. Christie debates. That's up to Trump. And that's up to whether or not Trump will be able to even attend a debate or not, which I don't know if he will be able to.
Go down, at least in a few state polls, Iowa in particular. There's a second debate looming in a few weeks at the Reagan Library in Southern California. Some in Trump's orbit have suggested he should reconsider and attend. What do you think? Is Donald Trump going to show up?
No, I don't think he'll show up at the Reagan Library debate, Jonathan. And the reason I don't is, again, his pettiness and everything to him is personal.
Bro, he has to show up, man. I'm so mad. He can't do this to me, okay? He can't fucking do this to me. He has to. He has to debate. Please show up, sir. Please. Please. Please show up. Please. Fuck. Like I said, I think it would be truly beneficial for him to show up. I do legitimately think that. And I do think that there's a different reason why he can't, and the reason is potentially because he doesn't want to ask for permission to show up and debate next to a key witness in a key witness in his federal court case, at least.
Personal. And so he's had a conflict for the last 8 years.
You can't have a televised trial and debates. Pick one. No, I want both. I want both.
With the Reagan Library. He's insulted that he hasn't been invited to speak there. He doesn't like the chairman of the Reagan Foundation. And, you know, all of that is more important to Donald Trump than giving Republican voters an opportunity to hear all of the candidates who want to be president compare their views up on the stage. So, no, I don't believe he'll show up at the Reagan Library debate, but I keep my eye on the debate in Tuscaloosa, Alabama in October, because at that point he will have lost even more ground in the polls, in my view. And, you know, that's all Donald Trump cares about is looking at the latest poll.
What do you mean he's lost? What ground did he lose? What ground did he lose in the last debate? He didn't even lose ground in the last debate. He's like, oh, man, Donald Trump's going to keep losing that ground. You know, I'm coming for him in New Hampshire. After my remarkable debate performance where I got yelled at and booed by the entire crowd. The only time that the crowd was, acting in unison was when they were booing me. That really did well for my polling numbers in New Hampshire, where I am trailing Trump by 30 points, or I'm behind Trump by 30 points. It's going to be great.
Can see and determining his conduct, not by what's right, not by what's fair to the Republican voters, but by what's he perceives in his personal interest. That's why he has no business being president again. But that's why I think he may show up in Alabama. But I do not expect to see him at the Reagan Library on September 27th.
We will see. Former New Jersey governor, Republican presidential candidate Chris Christie. Governor, thanks for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Oh, God. Awesome.